Hello everyone, my name is Perlito Roque and welcome to my channel. For those who don't know me, I'm an immigration assistant and a government employee by profession. Today, we'll talk about this 2025 step-by-step procedure of how to sponsor your partners, whether it is common law partners or conjugal partners coming here in Canada. Whether you're a Canadian citizen or permanent residents, we will guide you to the process to make it as smooth as possible. From eligibility requirements to document preparation and what to expect after submission. So let's get started. So first, let's clarify what sponsorship means. So sponsoring your partners allows them to become a permanent resident in Canada. The sponsorship process ensures that the couple can live together while contributing to the community. And there are two types of sponsorship: the inland sponsorship and the outland sponsorship. So inland sponsorship sometimes nagpepel off siya sa common law partner sponsorship. Those are two couples, or those are two people living together in Canada. And like si sponsor, nakilala si international student, and then they fell in love with each other. So they live in together until they decided na sponsoran na ni sponsor si international student to become a permanent resident here in Canada. And that's what we call inland sponsorship, or sometimes we call it common law partner sponsorship. And what are the other one? The other one is the outland sponsorship. The partners living outside Canada. So sometimes they live in the Philippines or in different countries, basta wala rito sa Canada. And that is what we call outland sponsorship. And sometimes it falls into a conjugal partner sponsorship or spousal sponsorship sometimes. So we call it outland sponsorship, but as long as the partner is not currently living here in Canada. And each has its own timeline and advantages po. Okay? So take note. Inland and outland sponsorships are two different types of sponsoring. Okay? So now let's talk the eligibility requirements. To begin with, both partners must meet specific eligibility requirements. So the sponsor must be 18 years of age, Canadian citizens or permanent residents, and able to provide her partner or his partners financially pagdating nila dito sa Canada. Ibig kong sabihin, the sponsor must have a job para kaya niyang buhayin si partner pagdating dito sa Canada while establishing her career or his career during the process. And your partner must meet the health and security requirements upon submission of the application. Ibig pong sabihin, partner will be undergo in a medical examination and background check. We don't know if your partner has a records overseas or even in the Philippines where they will belong. So it is essential to review these criteria carefully to ensure that they are both qualified. Sometimes si sponsor meron ding record dito sa Canada and they are not able to sponsor the partner overseas. Those what you call that records, sometimes nag-file ng bankruptcy or merong loans na hindi nabayaran, and those sponsor cannot apply or cannot sponsor his or her partners overseas or even here in Canada. Okay, so let's proceed. So before diving into application process, there are some things that needs to be considered. So number one, discuss your future together. Make sure that you both are aligned in your goals, or on your goals, I mean. Make sure that you are both on the same shoe, stepping on the same shoe, or you are both on the same page. kailangan nagkakasundo po kayo, si sponsor at saka si partner. Whether para sa process, everything will become smooth. Number 2, gathered information. Understand the process and the timelines involved. You need to have patience while doing the application process, because if you don't know, it will take 24 or 36 months before you will get your approval. And you are so very lucky if you get that approval in 1 year or in 12 months only. So that's why you need to be patient waiting for the result of your applications. Number 3, you need a dedicated folder or set up a dedicated folder for those documents and notes that you are going to keep. It has to be in one file. It has to be on one place. Para pag alam nyo na if the time comes that you need to pull them all up as your evidence or as your proof of evidence to support your relationship, everything will be smooth. Okay? Next is gathering all the necessary documents. So what I'm saying is those documents like proof of relationships, such as documents such as photographs, messages, and joint bank statement. Let's talk about this photograph. So when the sponsor is going to visit the partners back home in the Philippines or in any countries, I'm sure that you guys are going to make memories together. So take a selfie together, and the romantic pose that better. So like you guys are taking a selfies that kissing each other. You need to keep all those pictures and present it as your proof of your relationship. So the more pictures that you had, the better. But they only asking 10 or 20 pictures together. And sometimes the sponsor is going to introduce the partner to his or to her family back home. You know, what do you call that? Welcome family with each other. Because what I did during my time is that when I visited my partner, or used to be my partner, which is now my wife here in Canada. So what I did when I did that pictures, because no umuwi ako, what I did was I invited my family, and my partner and my wife invited her family together. So we gathered all together. Parang yung what we call tinatawag natin pamanhikan sa isa't isa. Like that. So we gathered all together, we introduced with each other together, and we took a selfie, or we took a pictures of that time. And that time we don't have cell phone as our means of camera. We did is a literal camera talaga, and we have to develop those pictures and then scan it, something like that. But now these days you guys can only use cell phone, right? So if a sponsor will go to the Philippines just to visit the partners, make sure that if you can do gathering all your families together, much better. That is what we call officially introducing with each other's family. So ganun po siya. Number 3, messages. So if you're using the Messenger or any other platforms of communications online, make sure that you can download all those conversations of yours with the partner, and make sure also that it is translated in English before submitting it as your proof of relationship. Because during my time, 15 years ago, what I did was I magic jack, because I called my wife in the Philippines every now and then I emailed Magic Jack to provide me those call logs. And they given me about 15 pages of communication logs that I did. And that's what I presented as my proof of conversation or proof of communications to my partners back then. What else? Joint bank account. So make sure if si sponsor will going to visit si partners in the Philippines, try to open a joint bank account, and then from there, that's where you're going to send your support to your partners coming back here in Canada. And that is a good, and that is a strong evidence that your relationships is genuine. So what else? Identity documents. Both partners and sponsor must provide a birth certificates, a passport copy of their own. On my side here, on sponsor side, they can provide a driver's license and passport as well, and some types of what you call that, provincial health card, something like that. And on the partner side back home, they can provide voter's ID, birth certificate, passport, what else? Diploma or school records. Make sure that all those documents has only one the same name. Because I have known few people that iba yung pangalan sa birth certificate, iba yung pangalan sa transcript of records, and iba rin yung pangalan sa school ID. Something like that. Don't make everything is messed up. Something na magkakaroon kayo ng problema while submitting your papers or application to sponsor your partners. Okay? Financial documents. So this is on the sponsor side. Sponsors must need to provide pay stubs, tax returns, or what we call notice of assessment here in Canada, or even bank statements, something like that. Because sometimes it depends on the partner that you are going to sponsor. This is only required if your partner has a dependent child or dependent daughter, dependent son na meron ding anak. Sa madaling salita, this must be required if you are going to sponsor a lola, something like that, na merong anak na isasama niya na meron ding anak. So something like that. And the last part is the completed application forms. So pag-usapan natin yan in the next step. So application forms, I have a link down below to download those application forms that you need to sponsor your partners back home or even in the Philippines or any part of or any countries in the world. Okay? So now let's move on filling up the application forms. So as I said, I have the link down below of these forms. But nowadays, or this year or last year, I think, they started to do it online. So there is a link that you're going to log in your names and password, something like that. And then you're going to fill up those forms for sponsoring applications or for sponsoring your partners, I mean, as coming here to Canada as a permanent resident. So right that. So those forms are sponsorship agreement, generic application forms for Canada, and Schedule A. So those are the three forms. Take note, those three forms po has a numbers or a series of questionnaires that you're going to fill in, that you're going to answer. There are different, but at the end, you will notice that they are synchronized with each other. What I'm saying is, hindi kayo dapat magkamali ng bigay ng data, like years staying, or there are questions that how many years that you stay on that place or in that country, even the dates. So if you put this that you only stay here for 3 years with this date, and there are also questions in different forms telling you or asking you how many years that you work on that place. Imagine, Other forms asking you or telling or questioning you or asking you how many years did you stay on that place, and the other form is asking you also how many years that you work on that place. So it has to be the same event, it has to be the same dates. They're different questions, but they are only asking the same time period or the same period of times. So kailangan po na maging maingat kayo sa pagpipill up ng mga application forms, something like that. So you need to answer them correctly and accurately. Double check everything before submitting. But nowadays, you do it online, so you have to keep it first before you submit or you do the final submissions. Okay? So if you think that everything is, properly filled in or properly answered, and it's now time to submit your documents. So you do it online, and after submissions, you will receive an acknowledgement of receipts, or what we call AOR. Sometimes it will take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, depende po sa visa officer na mag-o-open ng files ninyo. So processing times are different from the outland and the inland. Sometimes yung inland mismo ang mas matagal kaysa sa outland processing or outland sponsorship, I mean. So you have to be patiently wait. So ganun po siya. Sometimes if they find out that your documents are incomplete, they're going to email you, communicate with you, telling you to submit additional documents, something like that. So once you receive the AOR or acknowledgement of receipts, there will be another sets of email telling you to do the biometrics, to do the medical examination, something like that. And take note, if your partner has a dependent coming in or not coming in with her or with him, what I mean is, if she or he has a dependent that will coming to her to Canada, those dependents also needs to be examined or to undergo a medical examination. Sumama man siya o hindi, kailangan niya magpa-medical. There are some cases like this, I'm telling you. Si partner may anak nung nakilala mo pero hiwalay sa asawa. So, meaning he has a minor accompanied, or he has an accompanied minor that needs to undergo a medical examination as well. But beforehand, doing the application process of those minors needs to have a consent of their parents or their father or their mother. So, yun doon nagkakatalo. Minsan ang hirap i-provide ng gano kasi hindi na mahagilap yung magulang ng isang bata, ng magulang ng bata, kasi hiwalay na sila ng nanay niya o ng tatay niya bago mo pa siya nakilala, diba? So there are some cases like that, but in the next future I will discuss it to you how to deal with those types of cases. What I'm saying here is, if there is a dependent that your partner is going to come here in Canada, so those dependents needs to undergo on a medical as well. If he is or she is 18 years old order, kailangan din niya ng security check-up or background check, or he or she needs a medical NBI clearance as well. Okay, after the submission, you will receive sometimes, because we're talking about sponsoring partners here, whether it is conjugal or common law partners. Mostly, in some cases, those conjugal partners receive what we call procedural fairness letter. So ganon. So kailangan ninyong patunayan yon, kasi procedural fairness letter is telling you that they are not satisfied with your relationships. So you need to support your relationship with another sets of evidence na kailangan nyo isubmit sa CIC para makuha ninyo ang approval ng application ni partner. So, ganun po. In the near future, we will discuss about it, and I will help you how to deal with those procedural fairness letter with that common law or conjugal partner application, sponsorship applications, I mean. Okay? So, till next time, I hope that I can give you some thoughts of how to sponsor your partners here, 2025 application process. So, stick around and don't forget to like, subscribe on my channel for the future videos para po sa inyo lahat. Salamat po. Bye-bye.